Elon Musk has prepared $46.5 billion to buy Twitter. About $21 billion will come from him, and the other $25.5 billion will come through loans enabled by Morgan Stanley and other banks. Musk now owns 9% of the social media company. After Musk, Morgan Stanley is one of Twitter's biggest shareholders. Twitter is not replying to Musk's offer to buy the company. Musk is going around Twitter's board and going to shareholders directly with a tender offer. That means he will offer to buy their shares from them directly at a negotiated price. And CNN has announced their new streaming service, CNN Plus, will shut down just 1 month after it started. The streaming service was launched on March 29th, but will formally close on April 30th. CNN Plus reportedly struggled to garner subscribers, and new management decided to just cut the service. The service included former Fox News host Chris Wallace, who left Fox News specifically to join this new platform, as well as former MSNBC host Casey Hunt and CNN reporter Sarah Seidner. Now turning to the border, the White House is extending its vaccine requirement for people entering the United States and for those who are not vaccinated. The Department of Homeland Security is providing the vaccines. NTD's Melina Weiskup has the details.
People entering the U.S. via land ports of entry and ferry terminals must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The Department of Homeland Security just extended the requirement on Thursday. And those who've illegally crossed the border and have been taken into custody, they're getting the shot too. The DHS says it's ramping up efforts to vaccinate the majority of non-citizens in custody. Robert Law is an expert with the Center for Immigration Studies, a D.C.-based research institute. He explains the current situation at the southern border.
Just last month in March, over 200,000 illegal aliens were encountered at the border. And encountered is just the buzzword that the Biden administration uses in place of arrested. This is the highest level for a March since the year 2000.
Vaccinating illegal immigrants is part of the administration's plan to prevent the spread of COVID-19 as they prepare to lift Title 42, a rule created to prevent the spread of the virus. The White House is planning to lift this restriction 1 month from now, leading to an expected 12,000 to 18,000 people per day to cross the border. Even in the face of calls from congressional Republicans and top Democrats to reverse course, the White House is sticking to its plan to allow Title 42 to end.
Congress gave the CDC authority to make determinations about when it should be lifted. So right now, we are planning and preparing for the end of Title 42 enforcement on May 23rd.
This messaging, the law says, could make the issue worse by allowing cartels a window of opportunity.
By telegraphing it, what you've done is you've basically given the cartels, the coyotes, and the smugglers about a 60-day heads up to do your recruiting, to get your caravans lined up and ready to go, and it will just completely overwhelm the border.
And this is compounded by the thousands of Ukrainian refugees who have also made their way to the southern border and are now waiting to enter the U.S. And to prepare for this expected border surge, Congress gave the DHS a historic amount of money this year, over $1 billion. But the DHS says this may not be enough and they might have to ask Congress for even more. This comes at the same time as President Biden is urging Congress to pass another $20 billion in COVID response, which would include money to distribute more vaccines. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskup, NTD News.
A group of over 300 pilots and flight attendants is asking an appeals court to declare the federal mask mandate on airplanes permanently illegal. And United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby said that the mask mandate for flights is not likely to return. On Monday, a federal judge in Florida struck down the mandate, which had been in place since February of 2021. In their appeal to keep the mask mandate away, airline workers say that TSA cannot issue a health directive that has nothing to do with transportation security. They're arguing that the mandate by the TSA violates federal safety regulations. They also argued that airplane cabins, which are now equipped with a high degree of air filtration, pose a low risk of spreading the Chinese Communist Party virus. A memo from Senator Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign manager has been circulating. It implies that the two-time Democratic presidential candidate has not ruled out a third run for the White House. The memo was first reported by the Washington Post and then confirmed by Fox News and was shared on Twitter. It has been confirmed that Sanders' former campaign manager followed up by saying that the senator has not ruled out another run for president if the 2024 Democratic presidential primary seat is open. Sanders just recently turned 80 years old. Walt Disney World might not be the happiest place on earth. Florida's State House passed a bill to end Disney's operational autonomy around its Orlando parks. The same bill passed the Florida Senate on Wednesday and has support from Governor Ron DeSantis. The legislation would dissolve Disney's self-governing status around its Orlando parks. That special status allows the corporation to oversee its infrastructure laws, zoning, and even policing. Disney recently criticized Florida's newly passed parental rights bill, and the company vowed to help overturn the law.
We wouldn't have been looking at special districts if Disney had not behaved the way they did. By doing that, we looked at it and we realized there was a problem.
The legislation prohibits teaching sexual orientation and gender identity to small children.